Hello, everybody. My name is Graham Elwood, and you are watching Boom, the Political Vigilante. So, you know, it's significant when the New York Times is saying Joe Biden is drawing us deeper into war in the Ukraine. Like the New York Times, which loves promoting war, loves pushing warmongers. They just love it. So I don't know if this headline is like, well, let's hope. But when the New York Times says Biden speeds up military aid to Ukraine, drawing U.S. deeper into war, I don't know what the intention of this is, but I'm telling you, this is not good. And this is what the military industrial complex wants. Another long, drawn out, protracted proxy war. They're good for business. They're great for business. When President Biden signed a modern-day Lend-Lease Act on Monday, 81 years after the original version helped lead the way into World War II, he effectively thrust the United States even deeper into another war in Europe that has increasingly become an epic struggle with Russia despite his efforts to define its limits. Mr. Biden has proposed $33 billion more in military and humanitarian aid. Oh yeah, what's humanitarian aid? A package that congressional Democrats plan to increase by another $7 billion. Oh, thank God the Democrats are in power because they're even giving Biden more money for war. This is an additional aid package just for Ukraine on top of the $768 billion just war budget for 2022 that Congress approved. And then the Senate gave an extra $10 billion, threw an extra $10 billion on top of it. So this 33, which is now going to become $40 billion, is separate from the already bloated war budget where America outspends the next, I think 12 countries, maybe it's 15 now combined. I've lost track of how many countries we're outspending on war. But at least Joe Biden's taking care of the working class people of America. Oh, not this again. House passes $1.5 trillion spending plan. Ukraine aided. COVID funding out. This was 2 months ago. This was March 9th. Bipartisan support. But this long, protracted war thing where we just kind of muck our way through and just spend and we have no clear plan. I mean, it's not like there's any other countries where America's done that in, right? I mean, that's never happened before. Oh God, look at, whoops. Oh, that's right. Oh, this was 20 years. This has been 20 years and we just abandoned them last summer. So you remember Afghanistan, 4 presidents from both political parties spent $3.5 trillion over 20 years to replace the Taliban with the Taliban. Yeah, that's Afghanistan. So that's more. And think of that 3.5 trillion. Think if we were to spend it even to just rebuild Afghanistan, what Afghanistan would look like. One of our allies, a thriving country, modern trains and schools and all that. No, this is bombing. And now Afghanistan is worse than it's ever been. So we did nothing. We did nothing but make everything worse. The only people that profited were the military industrial complex. And the Taliban, well, they're in power again. So that's great. Yemen, we've been part of this proxy war since 2014, 377,000 dead people in Yemen. So that's going great. Syria, we blew that country to hell, lied about, chemical weapons attacks. That was a lie. Iraq, boy, I think that country's just working great. And then remember Vietnam? Yeah, another drawn out, protracted proxy war with the Soviet Union because the Soviet Union was back in the North Vietnamese and we were back in the South Vietnamese. Remember that? And we just ruined Vietnam. We're ruining Ukraine. But hey, man, and at least Biden doesn't take all this money from the military industrial. Oh, Jesus, keep finding this. Top defense industry recipients 2020. Joe Biden, 3.1 million. Trump, 2.7. We were going to have a war in Ukraine no matter what. There'd be endless war no matter who would have won. I just want everybody to know that. Bernie Sanders even got 800 grand. Way to go, Bern. Way to go, Bernie Bern. Look at all these Republican and Democratic sellouts. Jamie Harris. Look at them. John Ossoff, David Perdue. Look at them. Wow, they got look at a lot of money, man. It's good, man. You get in the Senate or the House, this pays off. Here's some of the other parasites. Elizabeth Warren, 338. Come on, Liz. You got to get up there more. So I just want to show you the big Democrat, the big progressives that ran in 2020. Bernie and Liz Warren still got over $1 million between the two of them. Just so you know how it works. Yeah, Lindsey Graham, Pete Buttigieg got some cash. Way, Pete, way to go. And we spend that money all over the world. This is good for business. There's Russia. That's why we got to have bases in Ukraine. I don't like what Putin is doing, but I can't blame a guy for going, these are too many bases surrounding my country. Russia and China are the bad guys, so we've surrounded them with bases. There's no Russian or Chinese bases anywhere in our hemisphere. Can you imagine if one base was trying to be set up? If Russia was trying to set up one base in Canada and China was trying to set up one base in Mexico. I mean, if they even sailed just one like aircraft carrier near the Caribbean, we would go fucking bananas. But it's good for business, man. So if you're having a hard time paying your bills, maybe you're behind on your rent because of COVID, or you have a PPP loan and an SBA loan for your small business, just know that we're spending it on war. Never-ending war. And we're going to be in some long, protracted proxy war in Europe now. Great. So I was going to go back and do shows in Russia and see my friends in Russia, and I probably can't now because there's going to be war in Europe. But hey, it's good for business, guys. This is a Raytheon ad that was on NBC. I love this ad. So exciting. Doesn't war profiteering look fun? Cutting edge. It's weird. They're not showing all the countries that they've blown up and destroyed. Parasites. Oh, who's our Secretary of Defense? Austin?
We see these beautiful pictures at night from the decks of these two U.S. Navy vessels.
We don't see what the rockets create. We don't see the parents crying over their dead children.
I am tempted to quote the great Leonard Cohen. I'm guided by the beauty of our weapons.
You're a psycho.
We are one global team,
creating trusted, innovative solutions
to make the world a safer place.
No, we've made the world a living hellscape, Raytheon. But we were warned.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment. Our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction. Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry. American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations. Now, this conjunction of an immense military establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government. We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists. and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals, so that security and liberty may prosper together.
I called it in 1960. Kennedy saw he was right. Kennedy wanted to pull us out of Vietnam, and the CIA killed him for it, as outlined in the book JFK and the Unspeakable, something we covered on government secrets. And I've been demonetized for 16 months. RT America, which was funded by the Russians, and they're bombing, they're in war right now. But RT was calling out the war machine of the United States empire. Somebody had to, because the American media won't. They're shut off. Lee Camps, he's like one of the most censored comedians in America, and I'm probably in the 2 position. So they're making it hard for me to continue to do this show by hitting me financially because I'm calling out the war machine. So, I've added some new tiers on Patreon. You can get some merch. Come see me live. But we're battling a thing that Eisenhower warned us against over 60 years ago. And that's what this crap in Ukraine is about. It's the never-ending war machine. It's very profitable. And if you want to end this, get everybody in the Congress, everybody in the Senate, whoever's in the White House, Democrat, Republican, doesn't matter, everybody in the cabinet, and the CEOs of all the defense industry and all the oil company, all the CEOs and all those politicians that I just named and all those positions of power, all of their children have to go fight wars. No more working class kids fighting wars. Only rich kids fight. I only want to see rich kids fighting war. That's all I want to see. Rich kids fighting war. Your dad worked for the Clintons. You went to private school. You need to go fight a war. Yeah. I want to see Donald Trump Jr. and Chelsea Clinton neck deep in the shit in Kiev or Aleppo or Baghdad or wherever. I want to see them. I want to see them fight a war. I want to see Ivanka Trump and Hunter Biden go through Marine Corps boot camp. I want to see Obama's daughters and the Bush daughters like having to go through Ranger School. I mean, the Bush daughters will be drunk, but I want to see that happen. When that happens, when Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell's spoiled shithead children have to do this, when the CEOs of the defense industry, many of whom are women, when their kids have to fight, not as officers, but as enlistees. Yeah. I bet you then war will stop. Right. When Hunter Biden's like, yeah, the Marine Corps boot camp is hard. I don't get to see my dead brother's wife that I'm dating. Creep. Hunter Biden. I can't even. So support what we're doing, folks. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood or rockfin.com/Graham Elwood and go to grahamelwood.com to support what we're doing. Because they only want to push war propaganda on the corporate media. That's all they want to do. And anyone that speaks out against the war machine, they silence. Anyone that tries to unify people, they silence. People that help divide, if you help divide the left or divide working class people, then you get to keep your show. They don't demonetize you. They don't deplatform you. You get, boom, you get big followings. So that's how this works, guys. Follow the money, connect the dots, get the truth, and shave your knuckles for justice. Boom.